Y'all want to watch a video? Let me see. Bottom of the page. I'm assuming this is it. And I hope it's in English.
The Prince of Persia series is held near and dear in the hearts of many. Whether you fell in love with the original platformers and their revolutionary rotoscope animation, the Sands of Time for its rewind mechanic and magical atmosphere,
Oh, wow.
or maybe even the
This entire shit that I just read is in video format.
reboot from 2008, which I quite liked a lot. And yeah, I'm still sad it ended on a cliffhanger.
Wednesday, you and Heartless podcast, bro. We got a lot of shit in the iron in the fire right now. We got to figure that out. There's some things we got to work on before we actually say we're gonna get into a podcast. One, we got to start making like we need to have something coming in to kind of justify us making time for the podcast. So the audience has to be there. But yeah, we're definitely working on something. We are.
Now, the franchise is back with quite a few fun twists in Prince of
Bro,
Persia.
I've been waiting for y'all to drop the pod.
Not
All right, bro, I hear that.
Ubisoft
Oh,
invite
shit.
us out to their office to get some hands-on time with the Switch version of the game. They also gave us the chance to pick the
I don't know if you were around for the tournament. How did you enjoy the tournament?
brain of Joseph Antoine Clavet, the cinematic director on this new Prince of Persia. So obviously,
it is Clavet.
I made the most of this opportunity.
So I wanted to ask personally,
You need to hear some fire
Godsmack
Conzo?
making an appearance. Will they be having any tracks in this game? Any,
Godsmack's not gonna have any track in this.
So if you missed the tournament, there is a video on YouTube on the KXI YouTube channel. I can actually post that link right now. Hold up. Give me a second. Wait for it. I'm gonna post it right now. For those who missed the tournament, here's the link. Go check it out. Leave a comment. Who commentated? Reaper and the Green Knight. That's the link. Check it out. All right, now let me get back to that reaction.
Cool.
Joseph shared with us some insight into what it's like working as a cinematic director, revealed some of the team's anime inspirations for this new adventure, and why the story in the new protagonist, Sargon's journey, is something Joseph is most excited for people to experience.
It's all good, bro.
I'm Joseph Antoine Clavet. I was cinematic director on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I was in charge of the cinematic team in Montpellier. And also I helped in some of the dialogue and story structure in some parts of the game.
Personally, when I think of like somebody who works in cinematics, I think of Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9's cutscenes and things like that. What does your day-to-day look like? Like, what do you, when you're working on the game?
To go through the scripts with the team to see, are we telling the right story at the right story beats? And then from having the scripts, we're gonna break down into storyboards. When we like the storyboards created by the team, we're gonna.
I actually do kind of like how this game looked graphically. It's not super realistic. It almost has like a cartoon feel to it.
To the animatics, so we're gonna animate those storyboards to see.
Almost cel shaded, but it's not cel shaded.
This game, what was particular is that we decided to go with a hybrid format between some mocap and some keyframe. So we wanted to have the weight and the natural animation that mocap can provide. But mocap has this limitation when you want to have something snappy that feels.
Yo, I can't wait to play this game, bro. I cannot wait.
Really huge and big sense of energy and power. So we did a hybrid. So I was also in charge of.
I think this game's coming out in January.
Shooting, directing the actors, and then bringing that back to my team and start assembling it to see the results that you saw in the build today. We use mainly the mocap for everything that might be a bit harder sometimes to keyframe with some weight, like some runs, some walks, some natural moment where characters are talking and you want a subtlety of like human motion. Always knowing that in this moment.
You know what it looks like? I don't know if anybody has ever played Phoenix Rising. What was it called again? Immortals Phoenix Rising. It kind of looks like this, and which is also funny because it's the same Ubisoft that made Immortal Phoenix Rising. Phoenix Rising was actually a dope game. A lot of people thought it was more of like a Zelda knockoff, but it had its own like charm to it. I really like that game.
Mocap, we will take some of the key poses and then exaggerate them or put a focus on them. Everything that was more action oriented, we will shoot in mocap in terms of having a blocking, understanding what will be the action, but then most of it was reworked in keyframe to get the snappiness and the sense of elasticity or the illusion of force you might see in shonen anime in these over-the-top.
Oh, snap.
How early into the production did you get pulled in? Were you there from the beginning?
So in terms of cinematics, we always arrive a bit later because the game has to have its first breath before we actually start putting cinematics into them. So the game started the development in 2020, and I arrived mid 2021 when we started having enough material to start building cinematics from. And it was a process of collaboration, iteration, discussion to find what was the right tone for the story you wanted to tell, because cinematics, to my opinion, need to serve a purpose that is either driving the story, being a reward for the player, a foreshadowing a big event or a big moment, and sometimes it just can be something that closes a certain act or a certain moment of the story. So I arrived in mid-2021, and since then I've been on the project up to this moment.
Do you know if there's anything in particular that really inspires maybe the team, but also just like you in particular? Like, is there a favorite anime that you watched growing up or even in recent years that's really kind of helped create this vision for this?
I want to know if they're gonna still give us like the ability to rewind time, like Sands of Time. I would hope they did, because that was a dope ass mechanic.
Game.
It was many different type of references because depending on what you're doing, you want to find the right references. Probably we're from the same generation. I grew up watching Dragon Ball
I think so.
every 6 o'clock every morning. There was Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I was also a big fan of A Sword of a Stranger, which was an influence that we put at different places in some of the cinematics. Ninja Scroll also for me,
Oh,
not in the
snap.
tone, because this is a tone that is a bit heavier. Berserk. Berserk for me is a masterpiece in terms of manga. It's a manga that like I love having the full series of the Dark Horse, and so it's not the tone we're looking for, but certain message that there is through this story. So there was so many anime. Some of the team it was more Naruto. Some of the team it was more Demon Slayer. So it was more the sense of the style, how everything is larger than life in anime, how you feel overpowered, and this elasticity in the animation, the musicality of animation. And when I say musicality, that was always something that Munir, the game director, will always get back to. Sometimes he could explain something it wanted.
Has anyone played Metroid Dread? Anyone in the chat? Metroid Dread, bro, is has a dope cinematic, bro. Has some dope cinematics in that game, bro. For a side-scrolling game, it is insane, bro. Nuts.
With sounds, and it worked. Like right away, it clicks, ba-dam, ba-dam, boom, bam, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We're gonna go in this direction. So
I like
the
this.
musicality of it. So it was multiple animes that all influence us differently, and by sharing a lot of references. Have you seen this scene? Have you seen this shot? Have you seen this pose from the character? And just feeding from each other. And I think this is what creates beautiful collaborative art, where people all have their different references and you find what links them together. Something we might not know, but like France is a huge consumer of mangas and anime. Huge.
Oh, really?
This is kind of really part of their culture in terms of animation. A big part of the team grew up on anime, and this is something that is interesting from French culture, because like even I come from Montreal, and every anime that we will see when we're kids were dubbed in France, and it was not yet really in the States or like in Anglophone countries. It was there, but like more niche.
It's been, I think I wrote down, it's been 14 years since like a traditional like Prince of Persia has been released.
Yeah, it's been a
How
long
does it
time.
feel to be part of the crew that's steering the ship for a new generation of fans to see Prince of Persia? A new generation of people are going to come around, and this is going to be, you know, we know this isn't the prince, but but this is going to be their Prince of Persia.
It's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's an honor. Like, I grew up on those games. And when I mean I grew up on those games, I grew up from like the Jordan Mechner games. You know, so for me,
Cool.
even when people are like, oh, steering or like having new sales for the game, I'm
It
like,
almost looks like
this is the perfect game for
paint.
it. Like, from where
It looks like a
came from in this
painting.
platformer format, going
Right?
to the 3D
It's almost,
format.
it has this like
Even the key
Spider-Verse
points
look
have
to it too.
different tones, different way of telling their story. So it was just the perfect brand to bring Persian folklore forward and do it in a way that it's not really bridge, but bridges between the platforming and these beautiful, grandiose location like we have in the
I like that. I like the
title.
platforming.
So it's an honor. Like when you grow up on certain type of content, and then when you become like an adult and you're able to just craft in this content, it feels like you're part of a myth that just keep growing and growing. Something that was really important for Munir and Jacques, and Munir which is the game director, and Jacques, which is the narrative director, was the warrior's journey, like the journey of Miyamoto Musashi, for example. We wanted something that had these really martial questions that are more philosophical and don't have a precise answer, but that drive you to wonder what type of warrior you will be. So for example, when we'll discuss it with the team, what is at the end of your blade? You know, some people it will be my enemy, some people might be the blood of my enemy, some other people might be my own reflection, but some people might tell you like, maybe this is me, because the end of the blade might be the end all. So it's a question that doesn't have one answer, just like the warrior's journey, like everybody's journey. And this is the journey we wanted to give to Sargon.
So, yeah. We're going to stop right there, but this looks pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to playing it. I don't know when it's coming out, though. Does anybody know when it's coming out? Let me double check. That's not saying that was time. It's called The Lost Crown, right? Release date. January 15th. January 15th. Set your calendars, folks, because I might be playing that game on stream. This game looks fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, moving on.